Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kid Lee, and this is going to be episode 8 of the Intergalactic News Network. In this episode, we are going to take a look at the new default interface for WildStar. For those who don't know, WildStar does support add-ons, and the interface itself is made up of 100% add-ons, so you will be able to change it to meet your needs. Carbine has just released some new information regarding what the default interface is going to look like. Please note that this game is still in beta and things may change. So, without further delay, here it is. Not bad looking, not bad at all. Now you can see the screenshot here already has some tags explaining what a few things are, but I'm going to go ahead and go over some things just to give you guys some more details. So I'm going to go from left to right, and I'm going to start at the very bottom and work my way up. So I'm going to start at the very bottom bar here. You can see all the way over on the left side where it's pointing down to menu, where it has a square box with 3 little lines. So the menu, you can pretty much guess what that's going to be. It's going to bring up all your options, so forth and so on. Now just to the right of that, there are 3 more blue boxes. That is the only thing on this interface that I have no idea what those boxes are. And I'm not even sure if I can speculate. I mean, the first one kind of looks like a flower with like 2 little eyes. The second one looks like a fireball. And the next one looks like sort of 2 little like bubble icons or chat icons, maybe. Now, you will notice that the chat box is missing from this interface look, and the quest tracker is missing from this look, so I'm not entirely sure where they're going to put those. If I were to guess, and again, you can move these around, you can do whatever you want, but I'm just talking by default here. I would say that the chat box is probably going to go in the upper left, and the quest tracker is probably going to go to the lower right. So I guess we'll wait and see on that. So moving along that bottom, you can see you've got the XP bar. It currently says XP 12.4%. So that's just your standard XP. To the right of that, there is sort of an orangish or a yellow one that, again, it says 12.4. And that is your path experience. Now moving along all the way down, all the way to the lower right, you see a 0 out of 16, and then we have the icon for bag. The 0 out of 16 is your indicator for how much room you have in your bag. So currently, this person has basically nothing in their bag, and they have 16 bag slots, is what that is telling you. So let's move all the way back over to the left now, getting into sort of the blue bars. And the first thing we see above the menu bar is a little arrow. Now what I believe that is you have the ability to make more action bars or your additional bars. And I believe that's what that arrow does. You click on that arrow and it would bring up an additional set of action bars. So that's what that is. Next to that, you've got mounts, and if you've played any other MMO, you pretty much know what your mounts are. So basically, you click on that, it brings up your mount screen, and you'll be able to pick from your mounts. And you are able to drag a mount into your quick bars if you want to do that as well. All right, then we've got a row for what they're calling the additional bar left. And in this, you do not put your moves or abilities. It's all for additional items. Like you can see here, they got pictures of like food and meat and cake and fish. So it's basically your food. It's exactly what it's pictured there. You eat your food, you regain health, and that sort of thing. So that is additional bar left. If we keep moving over to the right, we have a sort of pinkish purple number 2 dodge. So this game does have the dodge roll system, and you're able to hit it 2 before it recharges. And the bar just to the to the left of the 2, there's like a little pink bar. I believe that is going to be the recharge bar. So you can dodge roll twice, and it'll go down 1 to 0, and then it recharges up from there. So that's what that is. Next one over to the right is the innate, which is basically the class's special ability. You fire that off with R, as it says there. Moving over, we have got the limited action set, 1 through 8. And I'm not entirely sure why in this screenshot they have their number 1 bound to control 1. I mean, I'm not sure why you wouldn't just leave it on 1. So that's a little weird. But yep, your 1 through 8 is your limited action set, which are your main moves. And you can only have 8 moves or abilities active at any given time, which this sort of builds into the customization of the game. Next to that, we have the gadget slot. You'll be able to pick up different gadgets in the game that'll do different things for you. I can't really say too much more on that. Next to that, we have the path box, and basically all of the paths in the game also get different abilities or spells, whatever you want to call it. And so you're able to have one path ability sort of active at any given time. Next to that, we have the potion bar or box. And so you're able to put your potion in there. And it looks like there is an up arrow on that. So you might be able to have multiple potion boxes active at any given time. Next to that is recall, which is basically aka the Hearthstone. And the up arrow that is next to that allows you to switch in between your actual Hearthstone and then going to your house. So you can basically you can always go to your house whenever you want to, and then you're able to set your recall or Hearthstone to, you know, a village or town or the capital city or whatever you want. So next to that, we have got the additional bar right, and again, same as the left, you can add food or whatever else you want to add to it that you might find handy. Next to that, we have the Datacron, and they've changed this, so I have to take a little bit of a guess on this one, and I got to think for a minute on exactly how much I can actually talk about, but I think it's safe for me to go ahead and say this. Basically, when you're questing, there's sort of a hollow communicator. If you ever played Star Wars The Old Republic on how you can sort of get calls out on the field, I believe that's what that is. But don't quote me on that, but I think that's maybe what that is. And then we'll go ahead and we'll move up to sort of the upper bars a little bit here. We'll start with the player sort of avatar area, we'll call it. So you got your picture, and you can see where it says like pet and mount and class and your target raid. Mentor. Some people might not know what mentor is. The game has got a mentoring system. So let's say I'm a level 50, I'm max level, and I have a buddy who just started the game, so he's level 5, let's say. You can actually mentor yourself down to level 5, let's say, and play and quest with your buddy without interfering with his leveling experience. So that's a really cool system they have in the game. So that's exactly what that is. So it's basically just showing that if you're mentoring down, what level are you? And then we've got the standard buffs and debuffs. We have the shield. So yes, this game does have a shield. Right now in the game, the shield has got a 50% bleed through. That is something that they changed. Originally, the shield, you'd have to completely burn through the shield, 100% shield, and then you could start knocking down the player's health. And next to that, we have Absorb, if you happen to have some Absorb. And the Absorb is 100%, I believe. So if you did happen to have some Absorb, they would have to burn through your Absorb before they could get to your health and your shield. Now, moving over just a little bit more, there's a couple of different armor icons. And you see the little arrows pointed out as interrupt armor. If you don't know what this is, basically your stuns, your CCs, that sort of thing can be, how do I want to say this? Basically, if a creature has interrupt armor, like for instance, the one they have targeted has got 5 interrupt armor. That means that you would have to basically engage the target with 5 different CC type abilities to knock off that interrupt armor. Then the 6th one cast would then CC, stun, snare, whatever the target. So this is something that's really used for boss mobs. One of the features that they're kind of talking about in this game a little bit is, in a lot of other MMOs, if you're doing a boss fight, you just can't stun the boss or whatever, and that's just the way it is. But in this game, the way they're doing it is, if your group can work together and get your CCs off in a very short amount of time, like everybody hitting it at the same time, you'll be able to burn through the interrupt armor, and then you can stun the bosses, or CC, or whatever, along those lines. But the other items sort of at the top here are pretty standard for other games, other MMOs. Health bars, you can see casting bars, moment of opportunity, target to target. So I think that pretty much wraps up my look at the new interface. If you've seen any screenshots of what the old interface looked like, even the old interface was, pretty decent. But this one is definitely so much better. But yep, that will go ahead and do it for this episode of the Intergalactic News Network. So with that being said, everybody keep playing and have fun.